By the mid-1960s, Americans became frustrated with the war, as the Viet Cong proved to be a tough enemy to eliminate. American casualties were discouraging many people from supporting the war. There were 58,000 deaths of American troops by the end of the war, and 300,000 were wounded. Groups were split into the Doves and the Hawks. Doves were the peacemakers. They were the ones who called for the U.S. withdrawal from Vietnam. The Hawks supported escalating the war, determined to defeat the Communists and the Viet Cong. The draft that was used during Vietnam resulted in a strong anti-war movement. Young, poor, especially minority men, were sent to fight in a war that was seen as an unjust war. The wealthy could seek deferments, particularly in education, while poor, urban, and African American were sent to fight. Martin Luther King was very upset about this and spoke out against the unfairness of the draft in the Vietnam War. Also, many of these young men were very young. The average age of the soldier in Vietnam was 19. This was too young to vote because the voting age was 21. Young men felt that if they could not vote, they should not fight. So the 26th Amendment was passed to lower the voting age to 18. Eventually, the draft was replaced by a lottery system. College campuses were the focal point of draft protests. Students for a Democratic Society, SDS, organized against racism, poverty, and the war. As the war progressed, it became clear to many Americans that the government had not been honest with us. This caused what was called the credibility gap. It was the difference between what the government said and what was being reported by the media. In the next presentation, we'll talk about the fighting in Vietnam and the end of the war.